Welcome. This is the Men Church Stuff Podcast. This is the show where brothers-in-law DJ Culp and Brad Coleman talk about stuff from our perspective as men. It's a show for anyone who wants to hear how Christians interact with the world. And don't worry, we're real. We've grown up in church, and we want to share our experiences with you. We'll talk life stuff, church stuff, man stuff, and stuff. Here we go. Greetings, listeners here and there and everywhere, all across the land. This is the Men Church Stuff Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Culp, as always, here with my beloved brother-in-law, Brad Coleman.
I can't roll my R's like that.
You can't roll your R's? What's up, man?
You know, just been a crazy morning. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just, dogs had to go outside. We're down to one vehicle. Tabby had to get to work, and KB forgot her, her cross-country jersey, and she has pictures today.
Yes.
So,
So listeners who are parents, all is normal at the Coleman household.
That's right. Just another day.
Just another day, right? Yeah.
I got a little flustered and was kind of venting, and then I think Tabby thought I was mad at her, and so that was a little fun too. I just kind of had to be like, no. Like, look, I'm just venting the situation. Because she went to the bathroom, and usually she or the kids will let out the dogs, and nobody had let out the dogs, and the dogs were like telling me they needed to go out.
Yeah.
And then I let the dogs out, but there's somebody letting a dog out at the kennel next door, so that's distracting them. And then the homeschool network was starting to get there at the church, and so only one of the dogs went to the bathroom, and so I had to put him in the kennel because I'm gonna have to double back. And I was just like, why didn't you let them out, or at least tell me that you didn't let them out?
That is an annoying morning when you only have one of two dogs that decides, I will use this time to do what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, because if I leave her, if I don't put her in the kennel, I know really, really, really well that I'm going to have to be cleaning up the house.
Dog stuff.
She will just be like, now I have to go. And here's a floor.
And I don't sleep here.
Yeah. So, but no, it's not been a bad morning. And then I was like trying to get back here to record with you, and then I'm pulling back into the church, and I'm like, I really have to go to the bathroom. I haven't even had my morning relief.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So yet again, still like all is normal.
That's right.
Sounds like all is normal.
Just another day in paradise.
Another day. That's right.
And I just wait for somebody else to text me or knock on the door and be like, hey, the toilet in the church isn't flushing.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Victory.
So Brad, to give our listeners that don't tune into our Facebook group page, I want to give them a bit of an update. There is a question on our Facebook group page. If you haven't gone, go and let us know what your favorite thing of fall is. But outside of your wife, Brad, everybody that has listed something, everybody says football. Everyone's favorite thing about fall is football. Tabitha's, Brad's wife, listeners, and my sister, Tabitha's favorite thing is walking and smelling fallen leaves, walking on and hearing like the crunch and then smelling falling leaves.
Yeah, she loves to, just rub it into those leaves that they're dead.
Yeah, and I'm
aroma.
walking all over you.
Smell the aroma of their death. You are dead. Crunch, crunch. Yeah, you don't want to make her mad. She's vicious.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she gives it to those leaves. So thank you guys very much for John Lasco, Chappie, and maybe somebody else if I forget. My bad. But listeners, today we do this every now and then. But Brad has kind of the topic that he wanted to talk about in mind. So Brad, I give it to you.
Yeah, so I've been struggling on an emotional level. I've been struggling, wrestling with my anxiety and my depression, and
Mm,
I've last few mornings I've woken up or just recently, like mornings woken up and I've already been anxious like before the day even starts, and I've had some really not good dreams and off the wall dreams and all these things that have just bothered me.
mm,
And as I was praying just a couple of nights ago, kind of before I went to bed, I really just feel like God brought this verse to my mind, and I feel like it was kind of God's response to, okay, well, at least part of the reason that these things are happening is because basically you're not listening to what I've already told you.
mm,
The things. And so, again, Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there is any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. And so, as I'm thinking about that, and God's bringing me that scripture to my mind, I think God's kind of calling me out on that's not what you're doing. That's not what you're doing right before you go to bed. That's
mm,
not what you're doing as you lay there in bed trying to fall asleep. You're not thinking about these honorable, these good, these pure things. And it's just thinking about it made me think about sometimes I get in the bad like kind of doom scrolling or something, or Facebook videos. And when I was telling Tabby, it's not that the things that I was watching were necessarily in and of themselves bad, but like just negative, right? There's
mhm,
so much negative just hit me with these videos, even if it was just a movie, right? It would be this very dramatic scene in a movie, or and all of this that I'm just packing into my mind right before I go to bed.
yeah.
So it's almost like God was like, well, what do you expect to dream about when you're just packing all of this negativity and all of this drama and this in our mind? And even though I don't like this, right? I don't like this. I have read and heard that our brain can't tell the difference between like movies and real life, like drama and trauma. And that's why, I just
Hmm.
remember being at Walgreens and these two ladies just being so tore up because someone had died. And I'm like, oh my goodness, who died? These two ladies that I worked with, and they're like, oh, no, it was just on the show. But I mean, I'm like they're basically sitting there crying because
Okay.
this actor, died on the show. But but then I realized I was like, but that's part of the reason that we like action movies, right? Because there's a level of like safe, but then my mind
Right.
it's like riding that roller coaster. It's like,
It's like
oh,
the Mythbusters third category. Like this is plausible. Like what I'm watching, unless your action movies that are not necessarily sci-fi, right?
you're
But
right.
just straight action movies. Yeah, I mean this could happen. This is plausible. This there's a potentiality for this to be real life. Yeah, I get that.
Well, and like, when he's defusing the bomb, I'm getting stressed out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, is bomb gonna go off? Is bomb gonna
Yeah,
go off?
yeah, like,
Right.
and which is to me is always funny too, because I've seen the credits, or whatever, I've
Yeah.
seen the reviews, and I know he doesn't die.
Yeah.
They're talking about doing number two already, so he can't die
He
right
can't die,
here.
right?
So he's gonna defuse the bomb, but man, it's stressful.
So
Like,
one of
dude, you
my
got 20 seconds. What are you doing?
dude, one of my favorite things to do, oftentimes when Cher and I are, snuggled up on the couch at night right before bed, we're watching TV, she'll just conk out. She'll just be asleep. And then the show will be over with. and I'll say, let's go to bed. And she said, so what happened? I said, well, everybody died. The whole world blew up.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
I was
that's
watching
not,
Rogue One. I mean,
yeah,
that's how it ends.
yeah. That's
Spoilers.
right. Spoilers. That's good. Um, yeah, Brad, that's legit, man. Like what is it in fact that I do feed
Mhm.
my eyes and feed my brain and really, I mean, I think truly even feed my heart.
Mhm.
Because the emotions are wrapped up in it. Um, for me, and I have to be careful with this. I have to be really careful with this because it really starts to screw with my emotions.
Mhm.
But every now and then I'll think to myself, I'm okay. I think I can do this. And I'll watch like real crime stories.
Mhm.
Um, and I know it's not a real crime show, but Criminal Minds that is, it's architecture mirrors, real crime stories. I can't watch those for very long
Mhm.
because as interesting as I am, or as interested, excuse me, as I am with the human brain, the human psyche, behaviors, reasons that people do this or that, there's a certain level of evil
Mhm.
that does in fact like negatively impact me.
Mhm.
And I don't like that feeling. Like it actually kind of it scares me. Not to think of like what would I do, but there's a sense of danger. There's a sense of evil danger, right? Not
Mhm.
not not something that kind of on the other side of this danger is a world that is safe. But there is this sense of danger of what's I'm trying to think, like almost ominousness,
Mhm.
that when it really starts to creep in, I'm like, I gotta stop this. This
Right.
is this is not healthy.
Right. And again, I'm not against movies. I like movies. I like
Sure.
horror movies, and I know that some people are like, especially Christians, are completely against horror movies.
I'm not against them, but I hate
Mhm.
them. I can't stand them.
and again, and I could be wrong. I'm not trying to say no, horror movies are good. Um, but I think one of the things that we got to look at, and again with that, is what's our diet,
Hmm.
right? So if I am not if I'm just eating Krispy Kremes every day, it is going to negatively affect me.
Yeah.
Versus if I have a good diet where I'm getting the vegetables and the fruits and the nutrients and all the stuff that I need,
And the almond milk. Hmm.
yeah, in the almond milk, yeah. And then once a week, I go down and have me some Krispy Kremes.
Yeah.
That's going to affect me a lot differently, right? It's not going to be if it's not this steady diet. We and I say that because I think we have to be aware of what's going into our system. Now we
Hmm.
live in a negative world. We live in a world where there's a lot of stuff that it's broken. It's turned toward the negative.
Yeah.
And we're not saying that we like I don't think God is saying to just forget and act like all this other stuff's not happening.
Oh gosh,
Just
no.
just ignore the negative. But I think about Mr. Rogers, what he said about his mom.
I love this little quote. Go ahead,
Yeah,
dude.
and said that when there was tragedy, when there was
Yeah.
something, that she would point out to look for the helpers
Look for the
because
helpers.
there's always helpers, and so his focus then became looking for those when there's a tragedy, when there's an accident. Well,
Yeah.
look, there's EMTs and there's firefighters, there's police officers that are there to help. There's people that have jumped out of their car, not while it was driving, obviously, but they
Yeah.
pulled over and
That will
you
not
know,
be very productive. Yeah.
and so in those negative, there's look for the positive.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, well, this makes more sense why Mr. Rogers was Mr. Rogers, right? Because Mrs. Rogers, Granny Rogers,
Granny.
taught him to again to look for the positive, to dwell on those things.
Hmm.
And so, and sometimes it's hard. It's hard for me, but I think what we have to realize is my dad said it this way: garbage in, garbage out. Right? So like if we've got a steady diet of negative and we've got a steady diet of, just critical and all of this other stuff and then all we're thinking about is, how bad the world is.
Yeah.
And the world is bad, right? Sin bad. The Bible
Sinbad.
says that. Sin
Yep.
bad.
Sinbad.
Sin's not good. Uh, but I watched a video the other day that was, I think it was really good. The guy was pointing out, he's like, we talk about how bad the world is getting. And not that we're disagreeing with that, but he was like, but you got to remember, there were like four people on the planet, and a brother killed his brother because he was jealous about his brother's relationship with God.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And it's like four people.
Yeah.
Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. As far as we know,
As
like
far
that's
as we
the
know,
only ones that
right?
were
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Four people,
Yeah.
you know, on the planet, and there's the first murder. So it goes back to sin in the garden. So if we have a sin problem, and we do, and the world has a sin problem, and
And
it
it
does,
does.
the solution is still Jesus.
Yep.
And I think that's part of it. We're not downsizing tragedy. We're not downsizing stress times. We're not saying, hey, I'm not. I think we have to be careful, and I think that's why for me, like if you would have said, "Hey, Brad, just think more positive," I probably would have got more negative because I'd have been like, "Shut up, you don't know what I'm going through,
Right.
right? All this stuff." But as I'm seeking God, trying to again work through my own anxiety, work through this depression that's trying to like sneak back up, that has been a part of my life as long as I can remember. God is reminding me through His Spirit, look at what you're putting in.
Hmm.
And if you're putting on, we've had this conversation with KB and with Isaiah about sports, right? Like if you're gonna eat junk, and not really drink water and be drinking
Yeah.
soda and stuff the day before, yeah, you're not going to do your best performance tomorrow. Because what you eat today,
This is what's
what you
fueling
drink
you. Right.
today, yeah, it's going to fuel tomorrow.
That's right.
So, yeah, you got up and you ate a good breakfast, the day of, but if you were eating garbage the night before,
Yeah.
that's part of what's in your system and fueling your system. So I just think again, that's where part of this verse is, it's so important for us.
Well, one of the things that came to my mind, Brad, when you were saying, our world is broken, um, and I don't remember I don't think that you actually said this outright, but you alluded to like we love drama.
Yeah, we do.
We do. And I think that, I mean, on an entertainment level, drama's fun. It draws you in.
It's very dramatic.
It is very dramatic. Thank you. But this is something that it's a pet peeve of mine when it comes to like shows and maybe not necessarily movies because a movie it's a 2.5 hour, however long it is. It's just that one little time slot. Shows extend across multiple seasons, so you really get to see
Hmm.
character development. But one of my pet peeves is is the trope where marriages are going to fail.
Hmm.
Relationships are going to fail. Anytime on a show when two characters get together and like let's just I mean let's paint this really the way that oftentimes it is painted. It's not just two random characters get together, but both characters are usually very central to the show, and
Mhm.
most of the time both characters you also are intended to like. As soon as that happens, I think to myself, I already know what they're going to do. They are setting this up to fail.
Mm.
We are
Yeah.
conditioned, and I've told Cher this so many times that audiences are conditioned to not actually be interested in, at least on TV, a marriage that works. We
Yeah.
are. Now, I will say that there are exceptions to that rule. And the exceptions would be Home Improvement, Last Man Standing, which I understand are both Tim Allen shows. Um, maybe like All in the Family, right? But shows where the marriage and like the family unit actually does is intended to be the central
Yeah.
bonding of the show itself. I think those are exceptions, but like for the most part, in just kind of dramas, as soon as a relationship kicks off, I think to myself, yeah, I don't know how long this thing's going to last. And what I hate is you are supposed to be actually endeared, over sentimentalized, that this particular relationship, not like it was bound to happen. We're so excited that it's going to happen, and we are caught in the middle of loving these two together only for however long down the road. All right, well, things are no longer interesting between this couple. We need to dirty it up. Now, I will say this on an applicable level. I definitely think that to a certain extent, that's true. I mean, humans are broken and there is no relationship that's perfect. Every relationship has its drama because one or both people are stupid. But that said, and what you were saying, Brad, like everything comes back to Jesus.
Mhm.
Because if it doesn't, then I would give all credit to the way that Hollywood, paints these relationships. That's the way that things probably work. But if you run back to Jesus, there's going to be at least attempts of reconciliation. There's going to be attempts of forgiveness, of repentance. And again, with secular shows, I fully understand that we shouldn't even expect to see that because that's not their purpose. But again, I don't mean to go on a rant here,
Well,
but
and I think again we like drama.
we do like drama, but I can't stand that part of it. I prefer, and I'm going to say this on the show. If our listeners kind of lash out because of, they don't like the show, then don't watch the show. There is a particular, there's a
Yeah, you can
particular,
you can turn it off. You don't have to
you can
listen
just
to
turn it
us.
off, right? You can turn this show off, but,
Every time
Chicago,
you say that, I'm like, look, if you don't like us that much, just don't listen
just
to
don't
us.
listen to us, right? There's a show that Cher absolutely loves called Chicago Fire. I like it to a certain extent. I think I can get quite soap opera-y, but there's one relationship on the show that has not failed yet. And they had a really bumpy start going into it, but two of the characters, Severide and whatever her name is, they are her first name is Stella. But Severide and Stella are still married on the show. They've been married for like 2 seasons now, and the writing constantly has in it that no matter what happens, they are going to be there for each other. And
Mhm.
I actually love this image because it's so
Yeah,
freaking rare. So, anyways, I'm done, Brad. Your turn.
yeah, my turn.
I hijacked. I'm sorry. This is your show.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think we like drama. Um, it's interesting, and I think in our human condition, when something is not going right for someone else, if it's not going right, um, more so than it's not going right for me, then we can feel better, right? I can feel better about myself. Well, I'm a mess, but I'm not as big of a mess as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm a little cuckoo, but like, not like that guy or not like that guy on the show. And I think we play the comparison game, and so what? It's negative. I think we don't realize like, one of the kids at Homeschool Network was talking about we got in that we were talking about bugs and eating bugs and all that stuff. But he was saying, well, this it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Eating
And
bugs.
I was like, what? No, I mean like the taste. Like, well,
Oh, got it. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
this like it's not that bad. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, as someone who has eaten bugs too, which is a story for another day. Um, that's just a really bad criteria.
Yeah.
Like when I want to eat something, I want it to be good. I don't want the criteria for me to be like, well, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. That's right.
And I think that's where, though, like we don't think about that on the mental, emotional level of what are we putting into our
Mhm.
mind, because I think we're okay with, well, it's not that bad. It's
Yeah.
not that bad. Um, and then before we know it, we're eating Krispy Kremes for every meal mentally,
Yeah.
right? Or we're, something like that where it's just wearing on us. And then we get attacked. Like I wholeheartedly believe that we consume what we crave and we crave what we consume. Right?
So Brad, I'm right there with you in the academic world, we call that behaviorism,
Mhm.
right? You are acting whether you have predilections at the genetic level, that's not part of
Mhm.
the conversation. It's just simply your behavior is the outward manifestation of what you desire inside.
Mhm.
That is like as bare bones behaviorism as it gets.
And if we want to change that, right? Because what we're putting in is bad. Like we've got to change what we're putting in. Like what? But I
Yeah,
don't like that.
that's right.
So when people are like, I struggle to read the Bible. Okay. Well, read the Bible more.
Yeah, yeah, like okay, so stop. No, 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 no. Let's park here for a second, Brad.
Yeah.
Because you're right. If I were to say I struggle to read the Bible, I'm using the verb wrong because struggle means that I have a hard time reading the Bible. I don't have a hard time reading the English language. I have a hard time forcing myself to sit down and do it.
Yeah.
So that's the incorrect verb. So if I were to say I struggle to read the Bible, that's a lie. No, I don't. I don't plan time to sit down and do it. So my apologies. I know that that's semantics, but at the same time, I think that, well, I mean, I've said this on the show before. I know I've definitely said it to you. Like words mean things, right? So I struggle to read the Bible. So is this a literary issue, right? Is
Mhm.
this a
Mhm.
literacy issue? And if it
Mhm.
is, guess what? Go get a different translation.
Hey,
But
absolutely.
I believe that the King James Bible is the only Bible that anybody should ever read ever. Okay, then you have a big problem with Hebrew and Greek Bibles. You also have a big problem, and then the list goes on.
Yeah.
So, and I know I'm being kind of flippant about that, but I mean, still, like there are plenty of ways that you
Mhm.
can overcome your quote unquote struggle.
Mhm.
So let's not use the word struggle. That's
Right.
my that's my landing point.
So if you're struggling to read the Bible,
Go
now
back to school.
DJ's advice is for you to go by school. For me, if you come to me, like again, my recommendation is going to be to read it more. And it's not that's not a flippant statement because again, what I said, I believe that the more that we do something like that, the more that's going to grow, the more we consume. And again, it's something that's worth consuming, right? The Bible is worth consuming. I'm not saying you should go eat your Bible, DJ. Like I'm
Oh,
being
okay. All
metaphorical,
right. You're
okay?
right. I should not.
I'm not saying like just go start putting salad dressing on the pages and because words do mean things, but sometimes
That's
mean different things. Uh, but when it's something that is worth consuming, something that's worth taking in, like the more you do it, the more that your system is going to want it.
Yeah.
I used to hate water. The only time I would drink water was when I was extremely thirsty.
Mm.
Like, and even then, if I have a different option. But I realized that I needed to drink water, right? I'm smart enough to realize that all of this other stuff was not as good as drinking water. And that, especially as a man who has one kidney, I
Yeah,
need
you
to
need water.
drink water.
Right.
Um, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that I didn't like the taste of water. I didn't like all this, but I realized I needed to do it. So what I did was I started getting it ice cold, and I would put like strawberries or some kind of fruit,
Oh,
lemon
dude,
in it,
fruit infused water is
infuse
so
it
good.
overnight,
It's
and then I
so
drink it.
good.
Then I
Yeah.
drink it ice cold,
My man.
or I drink it, again when I was like really thirsty, and I'd get that out, and then I went from there to just drinking it just ice cold, and then before I knew it, again, this is over time. It's not
Yeah.
like 20 minutes later, I was like, man, I love water.
Right.
But over the course of weeks or a couple months, now I crave water. Like, which is funny as I'm sitting here talking about it now, I'm like, man, I need to, after we get off here, I need to go get some water because I got my coffee right here, but I don't have any water that's not been sitting on my desk for like 2 months. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
let's
gonna
not
drink
drink
that.
that. Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
no,
gonna
no.
drink that one. So, I'm thirsty. And I think that's the thing is like when we start to do those good things and we continue to consume them,
Yeah.
then it's going to be like so I've got to believe, and here's my hope, right? So I mean, part of it is like, hey, I'm inviting you guys on this journey, and I've had this epiphany before, and when I've successfully done it, it's been better. But I have such a tendency to put negative into my brain or allow negative
Mm.
to be there. There's going to be, as watching this thing the other day, there's this psychological thing called ANT, anonymous negative thoughts. And they were like, you got to squish the ants. And I was like, oh, I like that. I can remember that. Squish the
I
ants,
can
the
remember
anonymous
that.
negative thoughts. Now, I wouldn't necessarily agree with they're all anonymous. I think there's, the Bible talks about there's, not all spirits are good, right? You
Right.
test the spirit. It's not all the Holy Spirit. So I think, Satan and his side is speaking into us, but also our fallen humanity, our flesh versus our spirit, the flesh is. So, but again, for lack of a better term, anonymous negative thoughts. So it's like one is recognizing them and then squishing them. We're all going to have negative thoughts.
Yeah.
What do we do with those thoughts? And far too often, I just let them get into the cycle where they're just stuck. Like, you ever seen a bowling ball that gets stuck and it doesn't get sent back? It's just sitting down there
Yeah.
in the return, and it's just like
Shiftum, shiftum, shiftum.
that's
Yeah.
where negative thoughts are get in my head. Like they're
Yeah.
they're not going out, but
Right.
they're not coming back. They're just stuck there. And
Yeah.
once you get enough of those stuck there, it really makes it hard to try to bowl. And
Yeah.
so again, I think it's sometimes you got to throw another ball down
Yeah.
there to break that one up. But where are these negative thoughts? But God has given us this list of things to think about.
And Brett,
So
if I can interject here, something else about this particular verse that I don't think that I've really noticed before.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, you know me, I really like to take a word and think, okay, so what does this really mean?
Mhm.
Like what are all of the, what are all of the definitions that could actually apply to this? In Philippians 4:8, he uses whatever one, two, three, four, five times.
Whatever.
Whatever. Right. Yeah. The New York's forget about it, right? Forget about it is true. Forget about it is honorable. No, the whatever here I know is a generalization, right? It's a general idea that anything that is true, anything that is honorable. But I also think that there's a sense of the definition that should cause us to be curious as to, so what is true?
Hmm.
It should get us to ask, what is honorable? What is just? What is pure? What is lovely? What is commendable? You're
Hmm.
saying whatever is, but yet he's not giving us an exhaustive list of what those are. As a matter of fact, he doesn't list them at all, right? At least not here. And so I think that, to your point of what you're driving at with the garbage in, garbage out. Well, okay, so if it's not supposed to be garbage in, garbage out, what is garbage? And then opposite, what is not garbage?
Right.
And so taking a look at Philippians 4:8, like, what is it in fact that I need to rid my life of?
Hmm.
And I think that I want to be careful here. I think it's too easy. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I think it's too easy for church culture to tell people, just get rid of the garbage,
Hmm.
all of it. I
Hmm.
agree, but I also think that when church culture relates or conveys that message, I can definitely say from a congregant member
Hmm.
that it comes across as a fixed blanket list.
Hmm.
All of us have to get rid of the same garbage.
Hmm.
When in actuality, that's not true,
Yeah.
right? Like, for me, it doesn't bother me at all to watch shows that incorporate like bar scenes,
Hmm.
because alcohol is not a temptation that I deal with. It
Hmm.
doesn't it doesn't trigger the, oh my gosh, I like, just a little bit, right?
Hmm.
There are other things though that do. And so I have to be very cautious with that. And I'm just using the television as a
Hmm.
kind of the guinea pig for what I'm saying. So the idea of Philippians 4:8, I think it's important for us to even see that Paul allows a broader idea of, look, we have to kind of convey ourselves, or not convey, we have to survey ourselves and
Hmm.
think, okay, what is it exactly that is honorable and true? And is there anything that I have in my life that's not? And
Hmm.
then that's where I would argue that's where David's psalm comes into
Right.
play and says, God, search my heart, let me know
Mhm.
for, everything that's in me that's nasty, and get rid of it.
Take out the garbage.
Take out the garbage. That's right.
Isaiah, my sunshine, takes out the garbage probably at least once every couple days. So he should be done,
Right. Yeah. I did it, Dad.
right?
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, but how come a couple days later he's got to take it out again?
Yeah.
Because the garbage is going to keep coming in. And sometimes that garbage is from, or a lot of times that garbage, right, is from good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's either leftovers or it's bones or it's like packaging and all of this stuff. So we're going to run into all these things.
Yeah.
But so for me, and again, you're talking about words, not to get back to so
Do it, man. Yeah.
sitting here looking up again these words and looking up the Greek and looking up the definition. So finally, brethren, whatever is true. Well, that true is fact, reality. That's again that definition of true. It's saying let's look at the facts.
Yeah.
What is correct? What is factual? So sometimes that factual thing may be something that again is not like something makes us happy, but let's look at the truth. But how often do we get misled by stuff that's not true? Like as someone who struggles with depression, and maybe you're out there and you understand. One of the things is for me is I'm letting everybody down. I'm messing everything up. You know, I'm I'm worthless. I'm useless.
Mm.
All of these things that they start to add up. And, your sister asked me a lot of times in those moments when we're talking, she'll go, well, what's the truth? What is the truth? Which in those moments, especially by yourself, it's really hard to sometimes come to that. But I look at some of the scripture, 2 Peter chapter 1, he gives us this list, which looks remarkably like the fruit of the Spirit.
Mm,
He says, if these things are yours and they're increasing, then it will leave you neither useless nor unfruitful. Right? So sometimes I got to come back to that scripture and I go, all right, well, I feel useless, but God says I'm not. Like through Peter's letter, he says, if these are mine, and they are, and if they're increasing, well, it doesn't say how much, but yeah, okay.
yeah, right.
Over time they have. I think I'm more loving than I was before. I'm more patient than I was before. These things are increasing.
Yeah.
Then that leaves me neither useless nor unfruitful. Okay, so what has God said? What is the truth? I'm not useless. I'm not unfruitful. There's another scripture that I come back to. I've had to come back to a lot over the years, and it has helped me so much. And it's Hebrews 11:16. It says, "But as it is, they desire a better country, that is a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for He has prepared a city for them." So, God's not ashamed of me. I need that reminder because often I feel like God's ashamed of me. This is no. If I belong to Jesus, He's not. God is not ashamed of me. Now, that doesn't mean He's not correcting me. Doesn't mean like I haven't done something shameful. But I'm not ashamed of my son when he fails and when he makes mistakes and when he does something stupid. I may be ashamed of what he's done, but I'm not ashamed of him. Right? I love him. I'm not ashamed to be called his dad. And so again, looking at whatever true is reality. So looking at the facts. What are the facts? Not opinions. What are the facts?
Yeah.
What's really happening? Not what my emotions are rolling. Honorable. To revere, to be in awe. I wish they'd translate it this way, and maybe one translation does. Whatever is awesome. That's what.
I'm gonna help you out.
Whatever is awesome. Think about that. Think about the awesome stuff.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Yo, fam, at the end of the day, focus on what's real, what's legit, what's fair, what's pure, what's beautiful, what's getting good reviews. If there's any goodness or positivity out there, that's where your mind should be at. Stay woke 100. That would be the Gen Z Bible.
The Gen Z Bible. Still
Gen
doesn't say
Z Bible.
whatever's awesome.
And what was that?
Brad,
What was that verse? It was Hebrews what?
Hebrews 11:16. Yeah,
Okay.
this one
Pretend that you
I'm
know where
gonna-
the New Testament is. There we go. Huh. And for our listeners as a refresher, but they now desire a better place, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for He has prepared a city for them. But now they want a lit celestial place, you know? God ain't even embarrassed to be called their God because He's all set with a dope city just for them.
I like that far more than I want to admit. Gen Z Bible.
The Gen Z Bible, baby.
So I'm
Oh
speaking to
yeah.
I'm speaking to youth this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you are.
I may have to look that.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
But again, I think as we go down that list, that it's real easy, I think, for us as humanity to just go, oh, all that's the same. God is just saying, look at the positive stuff.
Right.
Don't be negative. Look at positive. But there's a reason, there's a list, because those things are different.
They are.
And those things are like a jigsaw puzzle that like intertwine and set to build this picture. So again, looking at, God's not just saying, stop thinking about negative things. Just be positive. He starts out with, is it true? If it's not true, then yeah, just throw it out.
Hmm.
You're stupid. Yeah, we've had this conversation, DJ, and I love this, and I think that have been a good parent doing this. My kids would come home from school,
Mm.
especially when they were younger. I don't say it as much now, but occasionally it still comes up, And Carrie Beth would come home from school, and she was like, "Jimmy called me stupid," and I would say, "Are you stupid?" She said, "No." So okay, well I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or, so and so called me ugly. All of these things that you're going to get called, right, at some point in your life. If you haven't, wow. Like if you got a sibling, they probably already told you, right? I mean, I hang around DJ and my
yeah, that's
wife,
right. Yeah, it's a love language. Okay.
but I mean, but for those where it's not being used as a love language,
That's right.
you know, you're ugly, and you come home all upset, and Hannah be like, he called me ugly. Are you ugly? Now, again, I've told my daughters, my son, this positive stuff, you are smart.
Yeah.
You know, I told my daughters they're beautiful. So I'm not just pulling this out of like, well, are you ugly?
The air.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Am I? Like, I know what their answer is going to be.
That's right.
Well, no, I'm not ugly. Okay, well then I wouldn't worry about it.
Right.
Now, if you go, I don't know, then we're gonna have a different conversation. Now
That's
we're gonna
right.
look at
Yeah.
the truth. No,
Yeah.
you're not ugly.
That's right.
You're not stupid. But I think again, God's not telling us to just ignore life, not to ignore the bad, but what's true. What is true? And so sometimes that again in the tragedy is there's helpers. Sometimes that in the tragedy is like, all right, I know it emotionally feels like the end of the world right now, but the reality is there have been tragedies. Like Jesus had talked about tragedies, there have been tragedies all the way back to since sin has entered.
Yeah.
That's not to say that more people, more escalation, and all that. Is it getting closer to the end? Yes.
Yeah.
Because by default, if there is an end, every second is closer to the end. And that's me. Like
That's a dad answer right there.
I'm
dude.
just
That
like
is such a dad answer. Absolutely.
when you were talking about
It's
dad answers,
true.
when my kids go, "I'm gonna die," and I'm like, "Yeah, we all are."
At
Like it's
some
appointed.
point, you
The
are
Bible says it's appointed to every man wants to
That's
die, and then the judgment. Like so, yeah. You want to speak any other like just truth? So they get smart. Like, they're like, "I'm gonna die right now."
No, you're not.
Like I hope not. Like,
Yeah,
right?
I really hope
Yeah.
not.
Well, I hope
Yeah.
not. Like that would really mess up dinner. And
Yeah,
this lasagna.
I don't have
And
anything thawed. Yeah.
And this lasagna, I was like, this lasagna is good. It would really suck for me if you just died in the middle of dinner. You would ruin lasagna for me for the rest of my life. I'd never so please don't. Like, could
Yeah.
you just like,
I mean, at least go mow the lawn first, you know?
yeah.
I'm
But again, going on the list, right? So, what's fact? What's awesome? What's right? Again, is judicially right, God approved. So what is the righteous thing? What is right? What is pure? Clean or innocent? Lovely, friendly towards, and acceptable. Well, that's lovely. He's a lovely guy.
He's lovely. You're lovely, Brad.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
You're a pretty lovely guy yourself.
Oh, stop it. That's what I've been told, actually. So I'll own that.
Yeah, you're acceptable.
I'm acceptable.
Friendly towards, acceptable.
What a ranking. You're not superior, you're acceptable.
That's right. Good repute, well spoken of. Man, we know those people too, don't we? We know those people that it doesn't matter who you're talking to, unless they are totally off the wall.
Right.
Like, we know those people that everybody's like, oh yeah, it's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like when your enemies are going, yeah, I don't like him, but I respect him because he's a good guy. Like I hate him. He's stupid, but he's a good guy.
But he's a good guy.
I can't ignore that. I mean, when Jesus, they had to make up stuff about Jesus.
They did.
like
Yes, they do.
to try to like the whole arrest and all this. Like they're making stuff up because they couldn't get anything on him, and then they end up getting him crucified for being who he said he is.
That's right.
Right? He's claiming to be God
Well,
because he is God.
because he is God.
It's like, let's crucify him. That's blasphemy. Well, it would be if he wasn't God, but he is. So it's excellent. It's valor in something intrinsic or attributed like good. Like it's just like, so excellent. That could be. And I remember Jeff preaching on this. He said, like, if something is good, if we take something good from even the secular world, like, one of the things that we can pick up from yoga, not suggesting you do yoga or not. I don't want to be in that conversation right now. But one of the things that we've learned from yoga is it's good to stretch,
Yeah.
right? And you can stretch, and those are good things. So you can take that excellence from yoga and not have the negative of the Eastern spiritualism.
Right. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm just trying to get my back in order.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the kind of yoga that I'm doing. We can take that excellence from it and spit out the bones. And then, worthy of praise. It's fitting of praise. It's appropriate. It's a big list of good things for us to take through what we're thinking, right? Think through what are we allowing into our mind. There's a lot of good videos out there on TikTok. There's a lot of good videos out there on Facebook. I've learned a lot from those.
Mm-hmm. There's also a lot of crap.
There is. And you know what? And on some level, I've got to go, oh, this is me, right? Because this algorithm is learning me.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
When a bunch of crap starts showing up, what is that telling me? That means like,
yeah,
it's because I like that.
That's
it's
right.
because I like those Krispy Kreme videos. And it goes, oh, so you want more? So you want more? So, dude, and it's just going to keep giving it me.
So I just got to ask, man. I mean, we've gone the whole show with you constantly bringing Krispy Kreme back. Like, are you having yourself a little Krispy Kreme?
Actually, I'm not.
It's just
somebody had mentioned Krispy Kreme, and somebody that worked at Krispy Kreme the other day, and I saw a post because apparently there's like Krispy Kreme like houses now. Like you can go get a donut, like when it's got the houses of Harry Potter, and like so you don't know which house you're getting, and all of that. And I just saw a lot of that. So
that's funny.
And then I think I saw another video. So, but no, like I really, I think I would hate Krispy Kreme right now. If I took a Krispy Kreme, it probably tastes like syrup.
Well, Chris, I was about to you pretty much like destroyed anything that I was about to say, but I'll say it anyways. I was like, listeners, Krispy Kreme is not an official sponsor of this show, but. If Krispy Kreme wants to adopt us, even though they now know where Brad stands, I mean, we're happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to eat them, but
yeah,
I can speak from memory. I'm like a hot glaze, right? Yeah, when Brad like a hot glazed Krispy Kreme when the lights on.
Yeah. I am actually a Dunkin' Donuts guy. I mean, I like Krispy Kreme if they're there, but I prefer another.
Who wants to give us a sponsorship first?
Yeah, right. Yeah, jump out.
Yeah, you guys fight over us.
So, Brad, I actually have to teach in 3 minutes, dude. So we got to wrap this show up.
And that's the truth.
And that's the truth. And that's honorable. And it's right. But listeners, you know what to do. Follow us on our Facebook group page and our Instagram. Check us out on our website, menchurchstuff.com. Send us your funny church stories, and email us with questions and comments. If you have a question for Pastor Brad, we can start a bit on our show. Questions for Pastor Brad. I'm sure that he would love to answer some. So if you have any questions that you want Brad to address, let us know, and I'll be happy to ask them.
Yeah, but, and it can be a serious question, or it can be
a completely ridiculous question,
or try to stump me question.
Ooh, try to stump Brad. Yes, stump Pastor Brad. I like that. Stump Pastor Brad. Anyways, beyond all of that, listeners, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We love you. You know that. And thank you, by the way, for all of your prayers. As just a very brief update, I'm not going to go into the details, but I am fine. I appreciate all of your prayers, and for, sort of allowing me the opportunity to kind of share just kind of what I was going through, and just as a reminder that you're not alone either. So again, we love you, Brad. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, love you too.
Listeners, we will catch you next time.
Go be his church.